From the Arizona Daily Star and Tucson.com, this is the Wildcast.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Wildcast podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the Wildcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And also be sure to download the Wildcaster app for free off the App Store and Google Play. This week, I was joined by Levi Wallace, Tucson native, and now the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Levi sat down with me, talked about the new opportunity playing for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers and the Levi Wallace Foundation, and also a golf tournament that a lot of people can expect here in the near future. Without further ado, here's Levi. All right, and we are here with the man of the hour, Levi Wallace, Tucson native, now the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Levi, what's going on, man?
I can't complain, man. God is always good, and it's working hard as usual, man. How you doing?
Doing good, and I know you're not really complaining about much right now because you just signed a new contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe it's a 2-year deal, correct?
Yeah, 2-year deal.
So tell us, how did this opportunity come about for you?
Free agency is so crazy. Honestly, I didn't even think Pittsburgh was in the market for a corner, and my agent just kind of called me and said, what do you think about Pittsburgh? And I just kind of like, what do you mean? He's like, I think they're about to call me and they want to see about having me come out there. So he did his thing, he called me back. Opportunity came up, and I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's go to Pittsburgh. And so it was dope. I was excited about it.
So what was your knowledge of the Pittsburgh Steelers prior to signing with them? Like, what did you know just about the organization? Are there any players that you watched growing up? Tell us just about your general knowledge of the franchise that you're about to be playing for.
Nah, honestly, I didn't watch a lot of football growing up. So outside of my mom just being a huge fan and telling me about the Steel Curtain back in the day, obviously Troy Polamalu's a big influencer of defense and just how instinctive he is and how he plays the game. I was always a big fan of his. But other than that, such a great organization. As I've been in the league now and just seeing him over time, especially Coach T, just the man he is and all he does for that city and that community. Of course, I had the opportunity to go to Pittsburgh coming out of being undrafted. They called me and wanted me to sign with them. And at the time, Buffalo just felt like the right fit for me. And I don't regret it at all. Some of the best last 4 years that I could have ever asked for in Buffalo. And so it was just easy for me to pick Pittsburgh. I think it was time for me to go there and try something new in a different city, different environment, and just see the opportunities that they have there and how I could be an impact on that team.
What was the reputation from a NFL player's perspective? What has always been the reputation of the Pittsburgh Steelers as a franchise?
Like I said, I don't really watch a lot of football. So for me, in the last 4 years, but you always hear about Pittsburgh just being like one of those grinded out, smash mouth football teams. Always built on defense. And so just for the opportunity to be a part of that. And then every year I play them, they just play defense so tough. They always have a super solid offense, but the defense really stands out to me each and every year. And so just to be able to be part of that and go out there and try to win a starting job and be a part of that, it's exciting for me.
So I'm sure you've had a few conversations with your new head coach, Mike Tomlin. What can you tell us about him and the kind of personality he is?
You know what? We've only talked once, and I've always been intrigued by him. I've met him a couple of times throughout the draft, throughout the process, and just been around him, especially around Alabama pro days and things like that, and just how he carries himself, just the man he is, the way he communicates. And then you just hear it from the locker room, just the players that are already there, and just how they just love to follow him and just how great of a leader he is. I can't wait to be underneath him and share stories and kind of learn from him as we go along this next 2 years for sure.
Now, you talked about the last 4 years in Buffalo and how it's impacted you in your life. But, when you look at just your decision when it came down to, okay, what's my next step? Why do you think Pittsburgh was the right move for you?
Honestly, I was, on the fence of going to either staying with Buffalo or going to Pittsburgh. Um, and ultimately, I think, when my agent called and he was like, you should think about going to Pittsburgh. I said, okay, I'll call you back. Let me pray about this. Um, and I prayed and I said, Lord, if you want me to go to Pittsburgh, like, let me know, give me a sign. And man, I'm just sitting there just contemplating. I looked down, bro, and I had black and gold shorts on, bro. And I was like, you know what? There it is. There's a sign. You know what I mean? The Lord must want me to go to Pittsburgh. And I honestly just called my agent back. I was like, man, let's go. Let's do it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Was that a tough decision for you? Because, Buffalo was a franchise that gave you the chance as an undrafted player. So I'm sure, that's very tough.
Yeah, for sure. And, last year I was doing free agency and I could have went to a couple other teams and I decided to stay in Buffalo. One, off of loyalty, two, off of wanting another opportunity to have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. And those are my guys. Those are my brothers on that field. I've been there for 4 years. It kind of feels like college again, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. And so it was a difficult decision for me. I went back and forth with my agent, like, well, I don't know, and so I think the prayer helped me a lot. But it doesn't make it any easier. You have real relationships, build real friendships, real brotherhood. And so, it sucks, you know what I mean? And, at the same time, I can't wait to get to Pittsburgh and start working there too. It's business. Business is business. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I look forward to the opportunity to be in Pittsburgh and create the same relationships and friendships in that city.
You talked about the 4 years that you were in Buffalo, kind of it almost being like college. How do you think those years prepared you for what's your next chapter in Pittsburgh?
I think just there's two components, right? So it's on the field and off the field. So on the field, I grew tremendously, being around all pro players, being around just Micah, Poyer, Tre'Davious, Taryn, Dogs. So I'm just speaking strictly on the secondary. But then you have just on the other side of the ball with Josh Allen competing against him. It's just dope to go against him each and every year for the last 4 years. And then you bring a guy like Diggs who just pushes you and pushes you, and wants you to be better and just loves to compete. And so it just helped me grow as a player on the field, and just all the talent that Buffalo has. And then off the field, just trying to find my purpose, and I think Buffalo gave me the opportunity, especially with my chaplain, Lynn, and all that he did, mentoring me off the field, as well as just being in the community and just learning how foundations grow and how people move and places to help and not being afraid to create change. And so even with the guys that I played with and their foundations and just helping them and just seeing how they molded their community relationships definitely helped me and propelling mine forward in my foundation.
And with that being said, I know you were just in Tucson not long ago, and you're having, I believe, a youth football camp. Can you tell us just about what Levi Wallace has been doing off the field and what it was like coming back to Tucson and having a camp for youth football players down here?
Yeah, so I just started my foundation, Levi Wallace Foundation, and it's two components. So if you go on leviwallace.org, you can find out a lot more information on our website. But we focus on just the youth in the city, just trying to create more opportunities for scholarships, and to give less fortunate kids just more opportunities to be able to go get an education. And it's not just athletic, but academic too. And I think Tucson just gets overlooked time and time again. I went to Tucson High, and I mean, I turned out to be the player that I am, but they never came to see me once, and I feel like it happens like that time and time again. And they get a lot of people from California and Texas, and there's so many great athletes in their own backyard, as well as just smart people, you know what I mean? People who can change the world, especially at Tucson High. I don't speak for my own high school, but there's so much talent in the city of Tucson. And so one, just try to give more opportunities and try to build more awareness to these colleges, or to be able to help pay for things, try to give back to the community that helped me become the man that I am. And two, to focus on the homeless. And I did a lot of work in Buffalo, which really kind of broke my heart. You know what I mean? Just there's so much. So I don't mean to say homeless, but unhoused people on the street. Yeah. And it's just saddening sometimes. And so you just kind of want to find a way to do more than just give $10 or $5 to someone and never see them again. You know what I mean? Like, to really help these people get out of those predicaments and those situations is what kind of fires me up. And so, yeah, we had our football camp. It's the first event. We had about 300 kids registered, and it was so dope, man. I got a lot of athletes to fly in, some college kids that just leaving the U of A, just graduated, and they helped out a lot. So many volunteers came to help. So it was dope. And I really appreciated everyone who came out, supported, and we raised money. We are going to have a golf tournament coming up soon. I think mid-May. Look out for that. We're going to be announcing it in the next week or so. And I'm meeting with my board in 2 days to finalize things. But yeah, man, we're picking up some steam now with the foundation. And so just being able to, after we collect money and have foundations and grants and stuff, being able to start implementing it back into the city and start growing it like that and developing it. So we're looking to start doing big things this year, man. I definitely wanted my off season to be meaningful and not just the regular off season where I just work out and train and relax. You know, I want to be able to impact the city, especially where I came from. And so that's my off season thus far.
What inspired you to do the golf tournament?
Man, I'm a big golfer, man. You know, when you start golfing, you can get the itch. And so just like I said, just seeing other people doing it and being able to raise money, especially towards a good cause, and just doing something that I love to do, you know, either whether it was the football camp and coaching kids or golf tournaments, you know, just being able to do something that's enjoyable for me as well. And at the same time, raise money and know that I can sit down with people and make connections and relationships as well. Because that's what you need at the end of the day, to connect with people, especially if we all have the same mission, the same goal. I think it can be really powerful in Tucson.
When you first started playing golf, were you a Tucsonan, or was this something that happened when you became a pro?
Yeah, a pro, man. I've only been golfing for 2 years now.
Okay.
2 years, maybe 2 years. And so, yeah, it's just, I kind of got the itch, and I'm starting to get kind of good too. So I'm loving what I'm seeing thus far, man. I'm happy about it. And, yeah, like I said, I'm going this Friday. I'm coming up to Tucson this Friday, to go play at Push Ridge, like 9 holes. So I'm excited about that, man. I try to go every week.
Who pushed you down the golf route? Was it, you know, any teammates, coaches, family members? Like, who was the one that really got you into golf?
No, not for real. I mean, so many people golf these days. And so it was something I always wanted to try. And then when you think you're an athlete, you can just do stuff, you know what I mean? Until you like really try to start picking up a golf club, and that joint's way different. It's like no athleticism needed to golf. You know, you see just older men straight push it with the easiest swings. And so it's kind of a challenge for me more than anything, just a mental challenge. It's just you. And so it kind of keeps that competitiveness in the off season where you're just like working out. For me, it's just me competing against myself and trying to get better. And so I think if you just kind of apply the same things in other areas, it kind of goes hand in hand.
What would you say is the strongest element to your golf game?
Man, it's not my chipping, man. It's not. It's probably my irons, honestly. And it's not my driving. My drive gets out there, but it's a little slice. My putting is super solid. I can read a green like nobody's business. But I'm one of those guys who gets like on their hands and knees to read the green. Like, I need to know which way this ball's about to break. Like, no looking at it being cool. Like, I'm on my hands and knees. And so, yeah, probably my irons. Probably like my 7-iron is probably my favorite one on my pitch. Those two.
Okay.
Those are my baby. Yeah.
All right. So you have the golf tournament. Is there anything else in the works with the Levi Wallace Foundation?
Man, you got to stay tuned, man. Like I said, we meet with the board. I meet with the board this Thursday to create ideas and kind of stress the importance of things we want to get done this year and events in Tucson that we want to have. But I kind of want to take it to Pittsburgh too. You know, it's not just where I live, but it's where I'm at too, where I can show my face, because it's hard to come back for those events if I'm not in the city.
Yeah.
And so to have some of those events in Pittsburgh as well. And then just kind of see after I get in the city and kind of see the flow of everything and the organizations that are already there, just kind of fit in where I need to.
So now that you're starting this new life in Pittsburgh, are you reuniting with anybody? Are there any like Alabama guys that are on the team right now that you're kind of reconnecting with?
And yeah, Minka's there. You know, we played in college for 3 years together, so it'll be dope to see him again and be back on the field with him. And he's just a baller, man. So I look forward to being back with him for sure.
What was it like being teammates with him? What kind of player is he?
Man, he's a great player. Like I said, he's a dog. Very instinctive. I think he did a lot of blitzing for us back at Alabama. Now he plays a lot of free safety, which he's always good too. He has extremely good range and very instinctive back there. And so, man, there's nobody other than Poyer or Micah who I've played with. I mean, Minka is just as talented as those guys, all pro as well. And I can't wait to be playing back with him again. So I look forward to that.
And of course, you know, you bring some experience now that you've been in the league now for several years. But I want to go back to last season when you guys were playing against Kansas City in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a tough game to look back on, but like
touchy subject.
So like I'm curious, like from your perspective, like how did that game unravel, especially the 13 seconds?
Listen, man, I don't even think about the 13 seconds anymore. You know, you come home and it's just kind of depressing to lose in that way. And so I honestly have done my best to kind of just forget about it. And I only see it if it comes up like on Instagram or something. Cause now it's just a blur to me. Like I don't remember. I have to go back and really sit there and be like, what happened those 13 seconds? Cause it was saddening. You know what I mean? Like to go out that way, to lose that way, it hurts, but you know, that's football. You know, you win some, you lose some. You know, they had some great plays drawn up and we didn't execute on defense. So no reason for me. I can't, it's hard to like, you know, those plays keep you up at night, but those plays can also stress you out and kind of make you sick. Like, you know what I mean? Like physically sick, you know? Yeah. So I kind of just left that in the past and, you know, we're a couple months away from it now. So I kind of just moved on from it.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think is next for Buffalo? Because I know that was a tough situation to leave, but still there's a lot of young pieces there. You have Josh Allen on the other side of the ball. You know, that's still going to be a team that's going to be competing in the playoffs, and I'm sure you're going to be hoping to run into them in the postseason.
Yeah, Buffalo's a great team, man. And like I said, it was hard decision to make. And those guys are all ballers. I mean, they'll have success, especially with Josh as their quarterback. They'll definitely have success. The standard is the standard that they have there. And they have a great head coach in Sean McDermott too. So they'll do a great job drafting. I think they picked up a good couple pieces for the free agency. And yeah, they're a competitive team. I mean, they always will be when you have the leadership the right way, which they do.
Mm. Did you ever think about maybe going to the NFC or what was, you know, kind of your thought process when you were entering the off season?
I didn't really have any thought process, honestly. I didn't really care where I went. Just kind of like when I take off of football, I take off. Yeah. You know, it's so easy to like get into, all right, what's next? And it's so easy to stress yourself out. And so for me, I didn't think about it until the week of. And I was like, I mean, whoever calls. Like, I'm going to pray about it. I mean, the Lord's He's going to send me where I need to be. And so I'm super stoked to be still in the AFC, especially with Pittsburgh. And, I mean, just to have an opportunity to play another year. You know, a lot of people still haven't signed contracts this year. And so I'm super blessed to be able to have one and go into an organization that wants me there too.
Mm. What do you think about playing in the AFC North? You know, you got Cleveland. They just signed Deshaun Watson. Of course, you have Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, and all those guys. And then Cincinnati, they were just in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a tough division. How do you just kind of look at what you're going to be getting into?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but I mean, it's football. You know what I mean? If it doesn't like make your blood boil, like, what are you doing? You know, it's honestly looks like one of the hardest divisions in the league thus far. And so, man, I'm excited to be in there. You know, and you're competing against some of the best with 3 great quarterbacks, going against Lamar, going against Deshaun, and then going against Joe Burrow. It is what it is. Like, this is big boy football now. Like, let's get right. And so it kind of motivates me to work even harder because I don't want to let my new teammates down.
And they also signed a teammate from Buffalo, Mitchell Trubisky, the quarterback. I'm sure you went up against him in practice a lot. What kind of quarterback is he?
He's a great quarterback, man. And he was kind of one of the reasons that I went to Pittsburgh, because I saw him get signed. And so, I mean, I've believed in him. You know, I've seen his development, seen his growth, being behind Josh for a year, and just the leader that he is, it made it a no-brainer. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to Pittsburgh. Like, It is what it is. Me and him have open communication. We talk about maybe once every week, just how we're looking forward to the season and how hard we have to work, because this is going to be a tough division, like you said. So we look forward to the challenge.
So now that you're getting ready for Pittsburgh, what have you heard just about the city itself? Have you had a chance to, check out Pittsburgh at all?
No, I went there for one day and just signed my contract and flew back. So, definitely different terrain than Buffalo as far as the city goes. And I know I'm definitely gonna get lost a couple times as I get out there, but yeah, I look forward to it. I honestly don't know until you know, right? And so
yeah,
I'm looking forward to getting out there and just seeing what the city has to offer, honestly, and kind of going from there. But I mean, I'm excited to get to know people and to make connections out there. And like I said, the city's already embracing so much, bunch of welcoming. And like I said, I'm excited to be there. So I can't wait.
Have you played at Pittsburgh before? I know you played against the Steelers, but I don't know if it was a road game or it was in Buffalo.
Yeah, I actually got my first NFL interception at Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Second year, yeah. Yeah, I got my first interception there. So special place for me, for sure.
It felt like all the signs pointed to you becoming a Steeler.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, real quick before I let you go, going back to this golf conversation here. So anytime I talk golf with somebody that I interview, I always ask them this question. If you were to have the ideal golf group, so 3 other people, if you can golf with any 3 people, dead or alive, which people are you picking?
Dead or alive? Man. Anybody?
The ideal golf foursome. Anybody that you can just go out and play 18 with. These are the 3 guys that you're rolling with.
Man, probably my trainer, Travell. Probably Phil Mickelson.
Okay.
Just because his personality. Who else, man? Who would be my 4th? Maybe Steph Curry.
Scratch golfer. Good. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's a pretty good golfer.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, maybe that 4 tandem. But I'm a big Tiger fan. I see you wearing that Tiger Woods hat.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a big Tiger. But I think Phil has a little bit more personality, laughs a little bit more, jokes a little bit more. So
love it. Cool. Well, that is new Pittsburgh Steeler, Levi Wallace, joining us here. Levi, you're the man. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And best of luck to you and your new opportunity in Pittsburgh. And I'm excited to check out this golf tournament that you have in the works.
No doubt. I'll let you know, Justin. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Levi.